So in today's video, I want to talk about why you should invest in the markets. So this is a very important topic because for many, many years, or if not most years in my life, I haven't been really in the markets. When I had money, I wanted to invest it in personal development, in educating myself, and I always felt that money put in the market was money wasted. I felt like the market was simply too random for somebody to consistently make money. And of course, some of you will point out to those portfolio managers or maybe those hedge funds that consistently make money as the counter example. But in my case, I was not very rich, and I felt like even if I had 100% return, that will not be life-changing. But educating myself, that would be life-changing. If you acquire the skills that allow you to, maybe build a company or get hired at a top company, at your dream company, that will be money well invested. But recently, my thesis has changed. I feel like investing should be part of your life, because if you have a job or if you have a company, at one point in your life you have some capital, you have some savings. And if you just leave it there in a savings account or in a checking account, it's not doing much. Of course, the money in your savings account or in your checking account, the bank is using that as a collateral to make loans to individuals or businesses. So in a way, it's still helping the economy. But if you have an accurate view of the market and of the economy, you could place bets, simply buying stocks. If you look at the examples of people who bought Nvidia, or people who bought the Facebook stock back in the day when it just launched, or all those tech companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, when they just started, now they will be super rich if they invested like 10,000, I think, or 100,000, and they will have a couple of millions right now, or if not even more. Some of you might say at this point in the video that you don't have the acuity or the sharpness or the luck simply of putting enough money in the right company. So for those people, I think you should simply invest in the S&P 500, in an index that is well diversified. And buying the S&P 500 is basically betting on the American economy. And it's a bet that paid off for many years. Since its inception, S&P has been on this upward growth, if not exponential growth. And for the people who don't want to pick particular stocks, investing in the S&P 500 at least is a good idea. Of course, there are times of busts, there are times of booms, and sometimes maybe you buy it and the next year it goes down, but over the long run, it's gonna pay off. It's always upward trending in the long term, and a lot of 401ks, savings, and recommendations are saying buy the S&P 500. So it is in a way a self-fulfilling prophecy that the S&P 500 is gonna go up over the long run. Of course, there is noise in the short term, but in the long run, it's gonna pay off. So for the people who don't know how to pick, just buy the S&P 500 and forget about it. That is, in general, a better choice than simply investing in a savings account, or just letting your money sit there in the savings account. And then there is the other category of investors, or maybe traders. So people that think they have an edge in the market. They think that they understand things that are not reflected yet in the market prices. And those are the active portfolio managers, the hedge funds that think that there is inefficiencies in the market that they can correct by buying a company if they think it's undervalued, or selling a company if they think it's overvalued. Famous people in that category includes, of course, all the top hedge funds and the good old Warren Buffett, who buys companies that are undervalued. He's always saying that you should buy a great company at a cheap price, not a cheap company at a great price. And so here, I think comes basically the fun part. The variance of returns here, of course, is larger in that category, because some people maybe make so much money that they retire, and other people simply lose all their money in that category because they could bet on the wrong company and put all their savings, and then they're done. So it is a risky game. But in life, if you don't have risk, life is not fun. It's like you should have a decent amount of risk. Think about people back in the day when they crossed the Atlantic Ocean to go from Europe to America. How crazy a risk that was to hope to live a better life. So taking risk is part of life, and that's what makes life interesting. And what is beautiful about investing, and what is really powerful, is that you put money, and if you chose, if you made the right bets, or even if you made a relatively not so risky bet in buying the S&P 500, you can forget about it and it will grow on its own. It's like a plant growing on its own. You don't even need to water it, because the first act of buying it, and then you can forget about it. So that's really beautiful in that way, and very powerful in that way. I think a lot of the meaning in life that I've found recently in my life is that this aspect of growing, of always growing in whatever area you are. It could be, in your work. It could be the hobbies that you have. For example, now I think two main hobbies. One is jiu-jitsu. The other one is playing tennis. And making progress in those sports, it is just so satisfying. And I have a third hobby. I don't know if it really should be called a hobby or not. Is learning Mandarin, learning Chinese. It's like it's this lifelong journey. I'm trying to get better, every day by reading, by listening. And it's a long journey, but I'm trying to do my best every day to get better at those. And I'm soon a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, but I wish I could go directly to black belt. And I'm trying my best to go as fast as possible there, but it demands time. And I think it's the same thing in investments, is that money is not, it's usually not an overnight process. You have to see clearly the attributes, and if you have better information, better aggregation of information maybe, or better analysis of information, you should be a winner in the long term. I think that's one of the reasons why you should invest in the market. It's like this feeling of growing, this feeling of being connected with the world, basically. How well do you understand the world? How well do you understand human psychology? All the interconnectedness of everything. That's really what the trading market is about. And that's what makes it so interesting. It's about seeking truth, basically. And of course, a lot of people are like, no, the financial market is driven by greed. But underlying, let's say, all that greed is seeking truth, is what is the value of that company. You sometimes overshoot the value, sometimes undershoot the value of that company, but overall, in the long term, the true value will stand out. The message I want to leave you with this video is that you should invest your money. And you're a fool if you're not investing your money.